Okay, we've got a really fun one for you guys here. We're going to react to a little video clip from good old Hefe, SmashJT. Let's go ahead and watch, and then you'll see what I'm talking about here.
I've been reading your comments. Should I refund my copy of Meet the Howler since Yacht Club Games supported Black Lives Matter? It's $20. Do what you want. All I want to do is inform people of information that I find out about the games.
So, all I want to do is inform people about information I find out about SmashJT. And that's what we're going to get into here. So, I've got a few links pulled up. We're going to go ahead and get right into them. So, here we go. We got some Twitter action going here. So, this was a tweet. This is from the verified SmashJT account on Twitter. This is dated June 2nd, 2020. As you can see there, this happened during a certain event that happened just a little bit over 6 years ago. The other day, it was actually the 6th anniversary of a individual named George Floyd who was murdered. And it was caught in broad daylight. It was done by a police officer named Derek Chauvin. There were other officers at the scene. You all know the story. I'm not going to relitigate it or anything like that. But this is what Jeff tweeted here. We're going to go ahead and read this out in case you can't read it on the screen. I will be participating in Blackout Tuesday tomorrow. That's a hashtag, by the way. No social media posting and hope to bring attention to police brutality and racial injustice. I encourage everyone to do the same. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. Hashtag BLM. My thoughts on the George Floyd tragedy. And he has a YouTube link right there. Now, if we click on that YouTube link, a certain thing's going to happen. Do you want to guess what's going to happen? Are we going to hear his thoughts on the George Floyd incident? No, we are not, because that video is now private. Tisk tisk. I think we all would have liked to see that. Seen that, rather. As a matter of fact, I'm sure until recent events, we were able to see that. It probably got scrubbed by him. But let's move on. You can see this is not the only time that he's used the Black Lives Matter hashtag, of course. Here he is showing a picture from Pacific Beach off of Instagram, showing a whole bunch of people out in the ocean as part of a protest movement, obviously in the San Diego region, of course. And, you know, nowadays you have the quartering, of course, who used to be in the grifter sphere with all these other people, and they were all buddy buds, and the quarterings had his own recent downfall over several different things that have came to light. They weren't good friends back then. He didn't seem to be the biggest fan of him at that time. Now, I'm curious if this particular quartering video is still available. You know what? Let us find out. Let's go ahead and pull up the YouTubes here. Let's look up the title of that. How I Really Feel This George Floyd Tragedy and Ensuing Debacle. Let's just type this in. Let's see what happens here. Yes, that video is still available. So, as much as I'm not a fan at all of the quartering, I will at least give him credit to not scrub his accounts clean when he changes his opinion on things in order to maintain a certain image. So I guess that's at least one thing that's positive about him, even though his takes are obviously very shitty in my opinion. But that is one W for him over Smash on that. But as you can read, White Man shares deep thoughts about the death of George Floyd in front of thousands of dollars of gaming material. Are you serious right now? You are literally no better. Take a look in the mirror, Jeremy. Okay, that's very interesting. So, obviously, things have changed since 2020. People change. Motivations ultimately change, which I think is the point here, because this was from September 17th, 2025. This was 1 week after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, of course. You guys, I'm sure, are very aware of that. And he did a YouTube video, of course, calling out these different game studios, saying game studios praised George Floyd while celebrating Charlie Kirk assassination. You can guess what this video is about. I'm not going to play it back, but you've heard a lot of the different controversies. As a matter of fact, I have covered a couple of them on the channel in previous times. I will go ahead and post links up there if you want to check them out. Feel free to do that at your own pace. But obviously, this is the more recent stuff that we've got here. Oh, and it looks like his opinion changed on George Floyd too. That's interesting. I wonder why that is. So here he is replying to somebody saying, Minnesota gave us 3 of the worst events of the last 5 years: George Floyd, Tim Walz, Somali fraud. Of course, that is in reference to the thing that Nick Shirley exposed about these supposed daycares or something like that. Which it's kind of funny because if you actually dig into that story, the people that like this whole fraud thing actually happened before he even caught wind of this stuff. So that's kind of funny, just look into it. Like, and also another funny thing is the person that was responsible, the mastermind for it, was not at all Somali. They were actually like a white lady. But I digress. It is what it is. Of course, people have been digging into his life here. This is from May 26, 2024. This is actually after the shift had started, because he had started a certain shift on his YouTube channel, and this started around 2024, if I remember correctly. Started doing very particular videos that obviously have garnered a lot of attention for him. And of course, he's complaining about this here and talking about some of his past mistakes, like the good old Amico thing, for example. Everybody knows about his little Amico disaster. And dressed up like a video game character in a review. I wonder what that could be about. Let's look at that here. Look at this. This was all the way back in 2018. There is Smash right there, dressing up in what appears to be a Native American cosplay. I actually remember this video, this Mulaka video right here. I actually wanted to do a video to discuss this. I kind of scrapped the idea of that, but this is not a video that you can find. As a matter of fact, I think it's Mad Max Movies and Entertainment. I think that's the channel it was on. They did a live stream where they were talking about this and they were playing the video, and Smash apparently found out in real time this was going on, and they were kind of exposing his grift over his sudden changes. And he actually privated that video during that stream in real time, because the video literally stopped while they were in the middle of watching it. There is like a little bit of a clip that's preserved, like maybe 30 seconds worth of this video that they had recorded on this stream. And it's gone now. It's lost media. So it's kind of funny. He's trying to like scrub, like you hear those people, like, there's like certain people, of course, you might have seen in one of the previous thumbnails from a while back from some of my watch recommendations. You probably saw a picture of a gentleman named Graham Plattner, who is the Democratic candidate running for the Senate in the state of Maine. And there was a controversy with him about this tattoo that he had on his chest that apparently was like a Nazi symbol or something like that. And, like it was like this huge controversy. Of course, this was something that I want to say it's Janet Mills, who's like the mayor of Maine right now, who is running for the Senate seat. Her team like dug this up as like kind of like one of those slander. Well, I guess it wouldn't really be a slander, because I mean he technically did have a tattoo, right? But, like one of those mudslinging kind of things that politicians often do, using the whole like oppo research in order to dig up everything they can on their opponents. And they wanted to bury Graham with this, of course. And, he handled it very well by getting that covered up because he acknowledged, oh, that's a bad thing. That's a bad thing, having that kind of tattoo, and he wasn't aware of it, allegedly, this is all just what the story is, of course. But he went ahead and got that tattoo covered up and changed it entirely and apologized for that and all that good stuff. And that was him trying to cover up something, but he was addressing it up front at the same time. He was coming out ahead of it and, apologizing, actually taking responsibility for it. And, that's kind of interesting. That is kind of interesting here. Because this line right here, I'm accountable and face reality. I know it's hard to comprehend when you live life in a fantasy land. Well, I mean, you do have kind of a major lawsuit going on that's had a lot of stumbling blocks. A lot of things go wrong that haven't gone in your favor because you decided to hire an attorney who runs a right-wing podcast and seems more interested in taking this case for notoriety than for actually providing good legal counsel. I think it would probably be a good idea to find a different attorney or maybe just settle. I think settling would probably be a good idea. Maybe save some face, I don't know. I don't know. But that would probably be one way to be accountable. Another way to be accountable is, what? Hey, people change their minds. People make shifts in political activity and things like that. That does happen. It could happen for a variety of different reasons. Maybe just own up to it. Maybe just be like, yeah, that was me, and now that's not me. And then like could be a thing you could try. I don't know. Have you considered that? So, yeah, looks pretty rough. Looks pretty rough, but that's really all we've got time for, people. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to check out the most recent video that I did that's right above my head. I think you're going to dig it. And if not, perhaps check out the video in the corner. That's something recommended by the algorithm. I'm sure that's going to be fire. And of course, if you guys haven't, please be sure to subscribe. But that's going to be the last line.